Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you with The Infected, the Commissioner, #1. Guys, this book, fan freaking tastic. I remember when the Batman Who Laughs was ending, and that series was absolutely amazing. We've gone over, I believe, issues 1 through 3, I think, on this channel. If you guys want us to continue with that series, let me know down in the comments. But anyway, The Infected was the kind of the fallout of that series. And at the time, I had no interest in this. I didn't care. And I think it was just at the time a lot of us had the Batman Who Laughs and event fatigue. Now that I've had a couple of years to sort of push myself back from that and go back through all these one shots have definitely been entertaining. King Shazam and the Commissioner. I know there's more to The Infected and I may eventually pick them up, but this one hits different. Reason being is this is James Gordon, the one guy who, through it all, the murder of his wife at the hands of the Joker, his second wife, which was Sarah Essen, or Exon, I forgot how to pronounce her name, and the crippling of Barbara Gordon, his son being a psychopath, his first wife leaving him, and just everything else that's been going on in this city. And so, for those of you that have not read any of these, The Infected is the Batman Who Laughs comes from the dark multiverse. And he basically wants to make our 616 universe the same hell on Earth that his dimension was before it was destroyed. So he creates like the Secret Six. And so he wants Batman and Superman to figure out who he has infected. And in this book, we open up and we see that a lot of villains. I believe there's Anarchy, Deadshot. I'm not 100% sure on these three. I want to say that's Blockbuster, but I'm not sure. If you guys know, let me know down in the comments. But going back to Gordon, he's always been sort of the moral compass. Like when it comes to Batman, the three people he looks up to most is Leslie Tompkins, Alfred Pennyworth, and James Gordon. So what happens when you lose the ones that you care about? He's already lost Alfred. At this point, did he lose Alfred? I can't remember. Anyway, moving on. We'll get into all that. But let's talk about The Purge. This is Paul Jenkins' script, Jack Herbert art, Adriana Lucas colors, ALW's Troy Petrie lettering. There's everyone else working on the book. And then, of course, Superman was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, and Batman was created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane. And I believe it was the Batman Superman book that kind of kicked off The Infected before all the tie-ins and everything else that happened. So this kind of gives you a summary of the first issue where they find that Billy Batson had been infected by the Batman Who Laughs. And it was a major battle. We've gone over the first 3 issues, so I'll try to make sure to remember to leave cards throughout this review so you can click them at your convenience. But while this is happening, check out the way that Jenkins here just kind of introduces the gravity of this issue. Gordon, the absence of his eyes. Sometimes you wake up after you've been sick and you feel better. Now, the whole thing with the eyes, keep that in mind throughout this book. Because again, they always say the windows are the eyes to the soul. And the whole time that we're going through this book, it just kind of becomes a reoccurring theme. Now, I like how Gordon here, he's saying, but this city, you sometimes wonder if it's ever going to wake up. Gotham City stirs when it's about to get biblical. Death and destruction, crime and punishment, avenging angels, the devil himself in his many different forms. Gotham kills like winter. It torments you and the ones you love, making you sicker each and every day. Every time you told yourself that particular lie, the city proved you wrong, that, Gotham was still worth saving. It's like you can hose it down, but it'll never get clean. And again, the absence of the warmth of Jim Gordon. Because every time you see him, even though he's hardened from being in this city all the way back, to year one, Frank Miller's year one, when they kind of reinvigorated the character, you could always still sense that warmth and caringness of Jim Gordon. And that's what I like about this book. And believe it or not, the use of the color palette. Look at how Gordon here just looks very standoffish, very cold, very distant, not used to the type of character that we usually know. Now he's talking to this Detective Conley, I believe his name is, and he's talking about how his department's always under investigation by Internal Affairs, and Conley actually pulls a gun on him. Because Gordon, it kind of reminded me while I was reading, it kind of reminded me of Columbo, where you think that, everything's going to smooth over, and then you go, oh, and by the way, I know that's a dated joke, but anyway, Gordon says, put the damn gun away. If I wanted you hauled in, you would have already been hauled in. Instead, how about I keep AI off your back and you do things my way? And you're just thinking, whoa, that is like the antithesis of what Gordon did when he came in as a lieutenant during year one. That's what I kept, as I was reading through this, that's what my mind kept alluding back to, was the fact that when Gordon came in, he exposed Flash, did everything he could to stay on the moral high ground, trying to put away Commissioner Loeb. Loeb almost had his whole family killed, etc., so forth. And now he's come full circle and has become the very thing that he hates. But what he tells Conley here that makes things kind of interesting is he says, I'm going to need you because of my damn... what is this exactly? He says something about this damn sense of duty that I have, that I can't do certain things. And it kind of goes further back where, hold on, let me find it. Skip through that. We'll come back to Barbara in a minute. But we see him talking. And he goes, yes, it's me. No one's going to get hurt. No civilian casualties. That's our agreement. So even though we see Gordon is changing, he still cares about civilians. So that speaks volumes to his character, that even though something's going on, he's still not a mass murderer. And I like the way Jenkins here kind of uses Barbara as the juxtaposition of what Gordon is right now, where she's out on the street with the sirens, Black Canary, etc., so forth, trying to figure out what's going on in Gotham. And she's just thinking, what the hell is going on around here? And now look at also, in terms of the juxtaposition, look at how Barbara is more colorful, more vibrant. Gordon, the color palette on him, how he tends to just sort of blend in with Gotham. That's what you call awesome visual storytelling. And then, of course, another significance of this book is because Barbara is the daughter of Detective Gordon. Now, moving on, there's something that's supposed to be happening here. They're saying that's a homeless relocation activity, but Barbara finds something a little more in-depth going on in Gotham. And, of course, fight ensues. And just look at this artwork, guys. This, to sound like one of you hip youngsters there, this artwork slaps. Feel free to make fun of me down in the comments. But I mean, just look at this. It just adds to the book. Gorgeous work. Now, on top of what I was talking about with visual storytelling, look at what Anarchy says to Barbara here. He goes, it's that giant sense of moral superiority you bring with you everywhere you go, Batgirl. Saw you coming a mile away. Now, even though this is used as an insult, it speaks volumes to her character being the daughter of Gordon, that she has the same morals and values of her dad. She holds her dad in high regard. Now, with that said, fight ensues. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys because it's actually really intense. But she's the one that ends up getting the gun pulled on her. It's enough. Get off him and step away. Now, again, there's a back and forth how Gordon's saying, we can't, he's trying to play it off saying, we need you elsewhere. We can't find Batman. And as she runs off, Conley, I think is his name, he says, stop or I'll fire. Let her go. She doesn't matter. And look at Barbara. She knows something's not right with her dad. And Gordon says, nothing matters. Not anymore. Nothing but the end of Gotham. It's finally time. So I wasn't expecting a whole lot from this book, guys, but when you read it in its entirety and you're just hearing what's going on in Jim's mind, it's both heartbreaking and poignant. It's an excellent read. The artwork, I mean, even the cover, just look at how gorgeous this is. Just the use of blacks and reds and just the center subject here showing what's going on with the infected. We don't even need to see the Batman Who Laughs in this issue because you feel his presence in each book that you read, and using it as to control the one person that kind of is the moral center for Batman and Gotham in and of itself. It's a very dramatic, tragic story, but nonetheless very much a welcomed issue to the Batman mythos. So guys, if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and see if you can grab a copy. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little bat bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.